It seems that for every problem, there's always a solution. And in this case, time travel, which I've been seeing so much in one of my favorite TV shows this Saturday with Power Rangers Dino Charge and Dragon Ball Super. But I will get to Power Rangers in another video. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Super. In this case, episode 67. Now, keep in mind, guys, this will contain some major spoilers, so if I spoiled anything, you have been warned. So, as the episode starts, as you probably know, the last episode, Trunks, in his sort of light, cut Fusion Zamasu in half and just completely disintegrated him. Lo and to behold, he became a different element. He became like a cloud, like with his image all over, like it completely swallowed the earth. And of course, when he swallowed the earth, as well as essentially almost that part of the future Trunks' galaxy, he started to essentially destroy everybody in it on future Trunks' timeline, of course. I don't want to get confused with the current Dragon Ball Super timeline. Essentially destroyed everyone. So those poor kids that you saw, they're all dead. They're all gone. Everybody is dead. And then, of course, Goku tries to get a sensu beam because unfortunately he couldn't power up to blue because he already used up with the final Kamehameha when they did the fusion. So they found the button that contained the you could say the brain bubble for some strange reason. It's like a little communicator, so he can communicate with the God of everything. And the God of everything shows up and he says, "Who are you?" Keep in mind, this is the future Zeno, not the current Zeno that we saw in the other episode. This is the future Zeno from Trunks' timeline. And then he sees everything in all a mess and say, "Wait, did you do this?" And he say, No. And then of course he starts to, uses his mighty powers to essentially destroy Trunks' timeline. Essentially just, wow, like he has that power to just, he killed Zamatsu in his smoke form, and wow, like literally. So once he did that, he was like, "Everybody get to the time machine, quick! Let's go! And then they go back to the current timeline. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of Trunks' timeline, essentially. Which, it kind of begs me the question, why they could just done it before, to be honest? Why could you just call it Zeno and just do something about this immortal idiot? But no. I mean, this was probably the wait. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this future Trunks arc from Dragon Ball Super. I think it's awesome. But I think they were just going overboard with it, honestly. I guess they were trying to fill a hole, but just couldn't fill it. Okay? So the only way that they could fill it was to destroy an entire timeline. And not just any timeline. Trunks' timeline. So they go back, and then Trunks and Goku go back to future Trunks' timeline, which is nothing. It's just an empty void. The Trunks timeline, just a plain void. It's like a lot of crystals, you could say, when they went to this timeline. A lot of crystals, and they find Zeno just floating in the middle of nowhere. And then they go back, to the palace, and Zeno greets Goku, and then so here you go. He's a friend. Now you can play with him. It's pretty much was himself. Zeno playing with Zeno. So essentially he was playing with him. He's playing with himself now. So at the end of the episode, they had an idea, of course. They go back in time before Zeno destroyed everything. Essentially, they'll go back in time because from what we saw with Beerus, he killed Zamasu, essentially created a time ring. He created a new timeline So with that, Wiz will go with Trunks. I don't know when, but he will go with Trunks and try to prevent this version of Zamasu before he becomes immortal, I suppose. I'm not sure, because the way that they explained it was very, very confusing to me. So yeah, I mean, honestly, this was kind of a cheap shot, to be honest. They just could have just destroyed him, and they could have just gone back in time. Then again, it wouldn't have mattered, because I think Trunks' future timeline was fucked up anyway. They couldn't revive it with the Dragon Balls, because of course Zamasu destroyed all the Dragon Balls. So I think that was the only way to do it, and unfortunately, that was the only way to essentially erase Trunks' timeline from existence. And now the only way to go, I mean, I think Mai and Trunks have nowhere else to go. Essentially, they've become Time Lords. Essentially, I hope they start like a little spin-off, Trunks spin-off series. Kind of like, they could use elements of Doctor Who and all that stuff. I mean, it would be very interesting to see that. Like, the adventures of time-traveling Trunks, going back in time to fix all the damages he has done and all that stuff. That would be very interesting. I hope they do a Trunks spin-off series. That would be really cool. I mean, but other than that, the episode was okay. I mean, I wish it could have been better. I mean, honestly, this was just a cheap shot. I mean, they could have just not let Zamasu become this massive cloud, because of course he's immortal, obviously, but I wish they'd never have done that, to be honest. So anyway, guys, what do you think of this episode? Please let me know in the comments. This is Sentai22, and thanks for watching.